Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NWO show, your source
Good
for everything
everybody,
in the world.
and welcome
there's going to be an echo. To the NWO show, your source
Good
for
afternoon,
everything
everybody.
in the
Is
world.
there
gonna be an echo?
And there's going to be an echo. There. Okay, it's gone. I fixed it. Okay. So, anyways, the one time I nailed the intro, like,
It all goes to shit.
alas,
It's alright, man.
we
It
have news
happens.
from New World. Jamie Swift
Yay, and Jamie.
with the 1 year subs and the custom thing. He should have the 1 year 1 year icon as well now in chat. So that's a huge celebration right there, because I've been looking forward to seeing that one for a while. So tons of big news. We had planned a stream this morning because we got an email from Twitch that contained a link that effectively spilled the beans on a whole bunch of stuff for New World. And
Oh yeah.
Naturally, knowing us, we've got to show it, because what could it possibly be? Oh God, I've broken multiple things.
Oh, there we go. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
It's fine.
Here we go. Okay, so what are these? People are like, you're just showing me a list of tags, right? Like, why would I care how
honesty,
content creators tag their streams? Because that's just stupid, right?
In
Like,
all
nobody really
honesty,
cares.
yeah. In all honesty, Ace, when you linked this to me initially, I was like, "What are you trying to show? Like, what is this? Like,
Exactly.
explain this to me, man."
Okay.
So explain this to me.
It's okay. For people that are watching, you can see below the stream we have a couple of tags. We're tagged as English, RPG, adventure game, MMO, action, a bunch of things that we've selected that, like, if people want to filter Twitch by these things, we will potentially pop up. Great. This allows us to kind of identify identify content creators based on kind of what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Well, Twitch here has decided to go one step further. So there's the stream tags that the creators themselves can put on their channel. There's category tags, so things like game genres and stuff like that. However, they've added automatic tags. So automatic tags, the creator themselves can't actually pick. So how are they assigned? Well, this is where we're going to use Control F here, and we're going to New World. But wait, why would New World show up in the Twitch tags thing under automatic tags? A for automatic. The game, and this was confirmed by the patch notes today. I'm gonna scroll through the patch notes quick, because there's an image that's just key to this. Is this image right here? In this image, right up here, you see connect Twitch account. Boom.
Oh yeah.
Right there, you've got connection to Twitch that is going to tell Twitch what you are doing in game. So,
Yeah.
when you go into the Amarin Expedition, ta-da, mission accomplished, that's yours. It automatically tags your stream with where you are, what you're doing, and so on. But it goes further than that. So, you've got the 6 expeditions, Amarin Expedition, Dynasty Shipyard, Garden of Genesis, Lazarus Well, Obelisk, Shattered Obelisk, the Depths, but it goes past that. Can tell what faction you're in. So now, oh hey, I wanna see what people in Covenant are doing. Boom, it's gonna be right there, tagged. You're able to filter it right away. But what if I want to watch newbies? Level 1 through 9, level 10 through 19, all the way up to level 60. So now you can sit there and say, hey, I want to watch endgame content. Let me filter this by level 60 only. I want to watch to go help newbies. They'll be auto tagged at 1 through 9. And you'll be able to filter directly for them. It's okay. This continues on. What if they're in a war? What if they're in an invasion? What if, as I skip one, they're in Outpost Rush? And
there's a bunch more world
streams with an emphasis on attempts at achieving a new world record. I don't think that's
not actually
New
regarding
World.
New World.
I think that's actually
Yeah.
just a world record attempt. So like, we're just gonna skip past that one. It will tell what zone you're in. So if people are like, oh hey, where actually is this guy? Like like you're running through the middle of nowhere, your stream will automatically tag you and update those tags as you run through the world. Hey, Voxel Vini, thank you, or Voxel Vinny, thank you for the 2 gifted subs. Very very much thank you. Also, thank you to all of the people who are hitting follow and all that. Like, you guys are wonderful. I also want to take a moment, quick thank our multiple Patreons. Our Patreons, our subs, our whole community has been just wonderful in supporting the stream, in allowing us to grow to the size that we are. I'm getting kind of like, it's kind of a weird position because we've been doing this for a year and a half, and like, I don't feel like we're huge, but like, I'm having people come to me that are like, hey, like, we're looking up to you as kind of the content creator for New World. And I'm like, since when?
Why? Really?
when did I get that role? Like, so like, it's really cool, and it's really great to have you guys support.
It's humbling.
And yeah, it really is humbling. So,
one of the things that I noticed, actually, like not specifically related to, not specifically relating to New World as such, but like I saw one of the tags, automatic tags, is it's apparently going to be automatically being able, or like Twitch is going to be automatically tagging your language. So they're going to be automatically determining whether you're speaking, say, Spanish or Slovak, or like, obviously English or Dutch or German, like straight away, automatically. You having to deal with it.
Automatic tag of that. That way you can filter through and be like, oh hey, the only guys streaming are the guys who are speaking Portuguese, which like they apparently have like this massive community, but I can't understand a word they're saying, which is really unfortunate because I'd love to interact with them, but like I got nothing.
There's
I don't speak the language.
There's plenty of Portuguese who can speak English, and they'll be able to, I'm sure we can find some to plug us in with that, with the Portuguese kind of audience.
Oh yeah.
Or at least players, anyway.
So basically, the cool news that we were intending to share as kind of like, hey, like we cracked the code, like this is gonna be our thing, was this. Like this was the whole plan for the whole stream, and we were like, it's gonna be a short show. And then
they
I get a thing from them going, oh hey, here's this, and all of a sudden we've got massive amounts of patch notes again. You know what? I'm not even mad.
All the time.
So for anybody who's like, were we just like Nostradamus, where like, we just happened to know something was coming? Like, nobody told us this was coming, by the way. Like, just in case anybody's curious, like nobody actually told us that the patch notes were dropping today. Although a lot of people are going to be like, wait, how did you guys know with the patch notes coming out today? You guys announced your show 6 hours before the patch notes launched. What the hell? Because that's actually the second time we've done that.
Completely fortuitous.
Yeah. So we didn't actually get any kind of heads up on that. It's entirely
Although
random.
some interesting patch notes.
Yes.
Shall we go into them?
Yes. So let's look at these. So let's go back to the previous patch notes and remember that they said they weren't going to have another major patch notes, like, or major release. Apparently they They're in everyone else's version of major is, liberal differences at that point. Because there's a lot here. First and foremost, fixed 1,209 bugs. Holy
Ain't bad.
2, and thank God, after 3 years. 3 freaking years.
So yeah, we've been
around the company freaking limit.
so we've been kind of requesting or subtly hinting about the fact that like it might be a good idea to move the company member limit to sort of somewhere near to what is known as Dunbar. Is it Dunbar's number?
Yeah, Dunbar's number. Maximum number of people that you can have relationships with and understand the interconnecting relationships within. That number is, I believe, 242 or something.
I thought it was 112 or something like that. Yeah.
See, now I'm gonna have to Google.
I'm sure it was close to 100. I'm literally googling it now.
Dunbar's number. What's the actual number?
No, I have no idea. Give me the number, goddammit.
See, this is
150.
How many?
150, it seems. Yeah, it looks like 150. It's getting close. It's definitely closer than 50. Put it that way.
Yeah, we're gonna go with 150. Anyways, regardless, yeah. So this is gonna mean that your company can contain more people than you're gonna need for a war. So you don't have to know life everybody in your company 24/7 so that they can be in the war. They've relaxed on that, thank God.
That's also a really good point. Because like you want to make sure that like you have your maximum capability in a war. Like you're gonna have to make sure that you're gonna get 100 or 100% of your company in there. Like unless you can fall back on people who you know from other companies to fill those ranks. But like they're never going to be the same. They'll be good, but they'll never be the same. 100 Spartans is a fucking tank, but 60 Spartans and a couple of dudes from fucking Athens ain't gonna be as good as 100 Spartans.
Yes. So okay, let's keep rolling. Updated new player quests related to choosing a faction, gathering and refining for the constable. Nobody who has played since the preview is really
know what the hell that's all about.
So we'll just roll right on.
They can determine what the hell. Like they can take that and be like, let's figure out what the hell that's meant to mean.
Added a series of lore notes in each starting zone with additional revelations about that zone's constable. That's okay. So we're getting some more lore about the NPCs in the town and that. That comes up in other places. Actually, immediately below here, increase the amount of XP from discovering lore pages. That is actually kind of a nice thing to have because it rewards people for venturing out, going and finding things, and actually really kind of looking deeper at stuff.
So there's going to be a few things in this particular part, this progression updates, that's going to kind of maybe potentially trigger some people who are like who would essentially look at the whole rested XP boost thing and be like, oh look, they're making the problem to sell you the solution, right? Don't look at it that particular way. Look at it in the sense of, they want the XP to not completely negate the reasoning for enjoying the material.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So They increased the XP from lore pages, doubled the XP awarded for discovering points of interest. So going around the map, exploring finding new places, finding lore pages is going to be more important to gaining XP. Great. Increased XP required to level by 40% for all levels after 7.
That's pretty that's a big change.
So,
that is a big change.
Now, before people start throwing shit on the wall at Reddit, like, hold your shit, they've explained this.
Yeah.
Players in the alpha and people in the alpha can't say anything, and this is the worst part of this. We can't actually say anything. We can say what they say.
Yeah.
Which I 100% agree with, and I think that they are totally on par with this. Players in the alpha are leveling faster than we expected, faster than the content, and as a result, they're missing some cool quests and points of interest. The goal of this change is to better align the progression with the content in the game.
Also remember that, if you're testing a game, don't want your testers to only get to like 5% of the game, in an X period of time. Like you kind of, you need them to progress, a serious amount of, progress significantly in the game to be able to unlock and test and, bug test other areas of the game, right? Like, and when it comes to release, you don't want that sort of speed to be the same, because you want some longevity in the product. You don't want everybody to be like, I beat the game, I've gone through all the content in 2 weeks.
Exactly. It has to, like, some people are like, well, I don't want there to be any grind. Well, like, clearly you've never played another game at that point. Like, also, if you think this is grind, you've never played Warframe. Then, like,
yeah, this isn't your Mario Kart, man. Like,
Yeah. So now, one could extrapolate from this that other things that they choose to nerf in terms of XP might be considerable culprits behind massively buffing the amount of XP required. So let's look into some stuff. Reduce the XP gained from corrupted beaches by 10 to 20% based on level of that breach.
Is that beaches or breaches?
Breaches.
Ah, okay.
Yes. You can spend all the time you want on the beach, but you're not going to get nearly as much XP as going to the breach.
Makes sense.
Once more into the breach, my friends. I don't know the rest of that one.
I would say that, like, a lot of the Lord of the Rings kind of movies and stuff like that I watched, like, Gandalf wasn't exactly like chilling out on the beach. So, like, he definitely used his time wisely to gain XP to become Gandalf the White. We're gonna pause for a second on that one. We're gonna talk about this. Gandalf was a dick, and here's why. Gandalf separates himself from the party intentionally through magic, and intentionally separates himself into a boss battle on his own that he knows he can win, only to come back with extremely overpowered gear and massively leveled up. Just saying, complete dick. I digress. Yeah. Such an XP whore.
Also, I think I'm trying to think of what it's from. Henry V. Henry V is once more into the breach. Also,
yes,
great speech. Old movie, great speech. If you're looking for something to watch after this. Okay, so one could glean from this that this was potentially a problem in terms of distributing XP in vast quantities. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some interesting tidbits in this particular point. We love Corrupted Breach and how they bring players together. We want the feeling to be more about cleansing the area of corruption and then waiting for it to rebuild, not be a constant grind. Now,
so to me, that kind of makes it sound like, you know, they basically want you to do corruption breaches, you know, because they're corrupted breaches, not because they just give you XP constantly. Like, they shouldn't just be, you know, a source of XP and that's it. Like, they should be considered to be more than just, you know, a faucet for XP. They need to be considered,
yes,
you know, to be something that is, you know, based around lore, has some aspect, you know, that the legitimate aspect to be in the world.
Mm-hmm. Now, for anybody who's running breaches in the preview, you would remember that there'd be a grouping in one area of the map, there'd be a grouping in another area of the map, there'd be a grouping in another area of the map, and you'd kill all the ones down here, you'd go up here, kill all the ones up here, kill all the ones over here, then you'd, you know, kind of do loops, right? And that was how you kind of grinded them. They want to change the respawn on that so that you can't just do that. Now, here's my counter argument to this. They spawn in multiple regions. So effectively what you're going to do is instead of going from 3 or 4 different patches of them, you're now just going to go from, you know, 2 here up into another region, do all of theirs, come back into that region, and just make the loop bigger.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's actually going to fix what they think it's going to fix. But
Good point.
You know, we will see how that develops later on. Just going off of clearly what was in the preview and you know, understanding that they've changed the respawn rates, it doesn't fundamentally change a whole lot else. Reduce the XP from faction missions to compensate for the change in mission structure. How much detail do they give here? In this update, we've changed the faction missions back to the single mission structure. Since they are considerably faster now, we've adjusted the rewards accordingly. So basically, in a prior patch, they were multiple, you know, go to multiple places, finish the quest all in one, come back, get a larger reward. Now it's select your quests, go do a loop, finish all your stuff, come back, turn them all in. You know, and because it's only one location, it's easier to do loop wise. You're not turning around and go back and forth all over the place. Yeah. So, from there, reduce the XP from PvP missions by about 20%. The proximity of the mission locations and the speed at which players could complete missions led to a quicker rate of XP gain than intended. Can't say anything more than that. Arenas will now require one party member to have a tuning orb for entry. Arenas are the ones for Spriggans. So
yep.
you actually have to have a tuning orb to go in there. There's specific tuning orbs for them that have to be crafted. So in order to get those, you have to go out and do stuff around the world. We can't go into what exactly you have to do because that's that I don't believe has been released. Did anyone do a arena in the preview? I don't think we ever did. At least not in the preview. But there were many people that did.
Yeah, there definitely were some people who did. Because part of doing that fight required you to find a key, and those were fairly rare, I believe.
Added crafting missions. We removed from faction missions to town projects. Thematically, this felt like a better place for this type of activity. Totally makes sense.
Makes sense.
You know.
Yeah.
Along with the move to town projects, cooking, and armor and... Okay, guys. Cooking, armor, and craft... actually, there'd be an Oxford comma there. Cooking, armor, comma, and armament crafting missions have been overhauled and changed to be more accessible. Sorry, my brain's still in like tech editing mode because I've been dealing with like concept of operations documents and that today that I've been editing, so ignore me.
Sounds enthralling,
Yes, yeah, clearly. you know, yeah, you don't put that many ends in a sentence. Anyways, requirements here have been made easier for cooking missions with a maximum of 4 ingredients for any mission, and less of each ingredient type. Tuned armor and armaments missions to require less of each material. That's good. Required, or rather than requiring materials from tier 2 to tier 5, these missions now require materials from tier 1 to tier 4. So a little bit easier to do. You might get quests that actually are like turn in a bunch of flint knives, or turn in some star metal stuff. And I assume that the XP would be commensurate with the task there. Raise the cap on the number of active buy and sell contracts to 100 per character. Thank God. It should be even higher than that, please. But that's a huge start. So I'll take it. For the market types, that's going to be a huge thing because there's going to be so much to do. McLeod rocking the sub. I appreciate it.
Why not?
So, raise the cap on the number of active buy and sell orders. We reordered and tuned the list of territory standing bonuses offered at each level.
I kind of feel like at some point, like, we should be able to redo those.
Yeah.
Like all of them at some point.
Yeah. Like once you get to like level, once you get to level 60, like having a zone that you can just power XP in, it's like, why?
I mean, as you level up, like your priority sometimes changes.
Yeah. Like I know for me, like the priority is like where to put stuff.
Yeah,
like, where you live
that.
is 90% like, okay, well, I need a storage space that's big enough.
Well, there's that, but then you also have to kind of think like some of the people who, may not realize all of the decent bonuses that stack and stuff like that, and maybe the requirements of being having a large storage sort of thing, can end up in a situation where they're like, oh crap, I wish I'd chosen, this particular territory bonus or that particular territory bonus at the start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought.
So yeah. So New Order has bonuses more relevant to the early game, rolling at earlier territory standing levels, such as town storage, territory standing bonuses, and XP bonuses. Hey bud, what's up? My dog just decided he was gonna sit next to me.
Oh, Paula's come to say hi.
Hey buddy. Yeah. Started to rain outside, so he's afraid of the rain and thunder. So anyways, I digress. So they're gonna make things more likely to roll earlier. Town storage, territory standing bonuses, XP bonuses, which are good things to get early on, and then down the road, things like house ownership and how many items can I put in my house are not really things that you need to roll at level low levels.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, but not always, standing bonuses should offer a choice between similar things. For instance, one set of bonuses will pick between taxes and fees, while another set will pick between advancement bonuses such as territory standing bonuses or faction token bonuses. He just wants to be a part of things. We're gonna take a moment. Hey, buddy.
Ah.
Unfortunately, it's not on a gimbal, so I'm gonna break my camera if I do that for too long.
Oh,
Yeah. He just wants to stay high. He wants to be a part of things. Increase the amount of furnishing points granted by the furnishing standing bonus from 1 to 5. So you'll actually be able to put a ton of stuff in your fancy house when that's a thing.
that's pretty good. Yeah.
This required a reduction to the overall number of times this bonus is offered. We wanted to stay close to our previous hard cap at max standing, but we also wanted to grant more than 1 point at a time. So, makes sense.
Makes sense.
You can only have so many things in your house, so choose wisely. My dog is such a big baby. Yeah. It's better that he's standing here than barking at least.
That is true, unless he starts barking right now.
Yeah. So, a big one, and this is going to help a ton of people. Gray rarity gear no longer binds on equip. This will eliminate the confirmation pop-up when equipping gray rarity gear. This will reduce pop-ups and complexity for the first few levels for new players. This is also going to make it possible that if you come across high-level gear, like a basic T5 spear that doesn't have any bonuses on it, it's just a T5 spear, somebody might be able to use it because they might not have equipment, and it'll be a good way to kind of get them over the hump. So that'll be kind of cool. It'll also help a lot in the low levels, getting new players and kind of sharing some gear amongst them, and all that. So, gear rewards. We're continuing to add more gear to the game and improve the visual appearance of all gear in the game. Added 50 new armor sets that can be obtained through a variety of in-game activities. Updated visuals, stats, and perks for many of the unique weapons and armor sets that can be found as rewards for the following locations and game modes: invasions, wars, corrupted breaches, outposts, Lazarus, the expeditions, arenas, and many end-game elite points of interest. So basically, going to these areas, you're going to have a chance to get stuff that is very specific to those locations and very specific to that content that you cannot get elsewhere, and that you also won't be able to get from the shop. But wait, I thought having a cash shop was, meant they were going to put all of their effort into cosmetics. That's 50 new additional sets.
And there's some pictures of those.
That's the Reddit mod in me coming out going, I told you so. So anyways, here's some new ones. And I actually got a there's a meme on Reddit right now for the guy second to the left. Let me find this because this is pretty comical.
I don't think I've seen this yet.
Oh, where is it?
I mean, Hellscar, yeah, there's 50 sets, but like, who's to say that you shouldn't mix and match what you have in those sets? Like,
Aztec Lord Farquaad got me hyped 100% gunning for this set, not gonna lie. It's so right.
That's fantastic.
Oh god.
Aztec Lord Farquaad. That's amazing.
Oh, so good. So good.
You, sir, get 10 internet points.
There were times where it's a low effort meme, but nobody had posted any of the pictures yet, and that came through. It got flagged by the auto mod, so it comes into my queue and I get notified. And I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Allowed.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, we've seen 2 of these sets. The other 2 are new.
Yeah.
Here's some additional looks at those same sets. I believe it's the same set. Could be
Yeah.
wrong. In one picture it's a guy, and one it's a girl, but the same set. So
yeah.
So that's cool. From there, so the possible perks from each source have been narrowed to give each piece more focus on the benefits they provide. This is intended to reduce the chance of getting a less than ideal combination of perks, depending on what kind of character build you're looking to make. I like that.
I'm just
so
I'm just gonna go out
make
on a
it
limb.
probably a little bit easier to like craft,
Yeah.
Craft and find gear that's more related to, like, if you're building a tank, you're probably gonna get more stuff that's
Useful.
like, constitution and like things that are gonna buff your resistances, maybe, like, stuff like that.
Now, I mean, I know from, basically playing games where people are exceptionally creative in their design of, new weapons of war, new, metas for war. And you could be, you could surprising as to what people use to be able to outfox one another. Like, I'm thinking maybe this might reduce a little bit of the most craziest of setups, but it doesn't mean that Amazon couldn't just add a little bit more, like, craziness to it at a later date, sort of thing. But I think getting people sort of more along the lines of, like, I wouldn't say traditional roles, but just at least having those drops be more rewarding or more in line with traditional roles is understandable.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We can get crazy a little bit later.
Yeah. So some of the other things they did: added 27 new trinket rewards for wars, breaches, invasions, and outpost rush. So okay, that's a solid new additions there. Updated the color scheme on a slew of weapons throughout the game. Updated all uniquely colored weapons dropped by lost enemies, which makes sense. Basically, they're taking the color sets that drop from specific groups and making the equipment look like it actually belongs to that group, which I totally agree with.
Yeah, it gives them a sort of a visual, sort of understandable visual kind of family, right?
Mm-hmm. Added 2 unique trade skill apparel sets that can be discovered throughout Eternum. These apparel sets will not provide much benefit in combat, but each set is stacked with perks. One set will improve crafting, and the other will improve gathering abilities. Color me intrigued. So
I think I might know a few people who might.
Friend who's looking at doing passives, or doing a pacifist character, that's going to be a huge one. Having a set that's going to give bonuses to that is going to be huge. So let's see here. Added named weapon drops to the global list of drops that can occur anywhere in the game. These weapons have a low chance to drop, but should add excitement to global drops. The weapons on this list are all bind on equip, so they can be traded between players until they're equipped for the first time. Nice.
Like, name stuff that doesn't just bind on pick up; it's bind on equip. So you can, as long as you don't like, either put the stuff on or throw it into one of your weapon slots, you can potentially sell those, obviously, on the market or to a friend.
All right, so
it's pretty good because
crafting.
Sorry.
Jewel crafting. Trinkets are now created with embedded gems that cannot be changed.
That's good.
That's good. Jewelry crafting as well. Added crafting recipes for carnelian and amber trinkets. That's the threat trinkets.
There's a.
So
Oh, okay.
that's a worthwhile thing to have.
Gives
them a proper place. So UI UX. All right. So we're gonna, because we got a whole bunch. It's a completely different group than the beginning of the stream. We're gonna talk about this again. Although we showed this, we really only cared about this part early on. But they changed up the entire login process. The main menu and initial character creation flow have received an update. In addition to streamlining the flow and adding key functionality, we wanted to draw players into the world of Eternum immediately after booting up the game. Our main menu displays a new dynamic tile grid, which will surface content updates or important information about the living world of Eternum. So basically, hey, here's our forums. Follow us on Twitter. Dev updates. Anytime they post a dev blog or patch notes or stuff like that, this is the incredibly common thing to happen in just about every game at this point.
Yeah. I was about to say.
Yeah. But again, this was the part that was gonna be our whole stream today. So yeah.
Although we didn't actually have this screen to jump off as well, it was literally just the stuff that we saw from Twitch.
So I'm gonna pause for a second. For those that don't know, this is what we saw on Twitch, because there's a few new people in here. Effectively speaking, Twitch has added automatic content tags, so you'll be able to filter the New World content by certain things.
Yeah. So
let's say I'm playing. Let's say I'm playing as Covenant. I'm playing Amarin Expedition, and I'm level 35. You can find me by filtering by Amarin Expedition. You can find me by filtering by Covenant. You can find me by filtering by...
Even by the location. Well, I mean, to some degree.
By level.
By level, yeah.
You can find me by PvP war modes, etc. So those are cool. I would assume that one of the things that'll probably pop up on here is, hey, check out the shop for items. We all know that's going to be a thing.
Obviously.
Welcome to 2020s.
Welcome to 2018, really, if anything.
The last 20 years of gaming have basically been building up to the moment of every game having that. So, So, anyways, moving along. On the new character select screen, you'll see available character slots and receive important server messaging before advancing into the game. The world list has been replaced with your character slots, which you have 2 per region. You now only need to choose a world when initially creating your character.
Fair enough.
As a new player, you will get a streamlined character creation flow with a choose your world step that shows recommended world choice based on current queue times and if any Steam friends are online. So okay, we got Steam integration determining friends list and going, hey, go play on this server, this is the one you're looking for, this is where your friends are. So if you have your Steam friends set up correctly, you'll be able to find them easier. That makes total sense. It's way easier than being like, oh, go to North America, Haven server, because that was actually harder to find than I think people thought it would be. For the preview event, I'm not dunking anything from the alpha there. So you can optionally expand the world list and choose any world as you can now. That's fine. So, gameplay UI polish. Combat UI has been adjusted to provide more information in moment-to-moment gameplay. Should now be easier to tell what types of attacks are being used, how effective the attacks are, and when status effects are being applied. Added icons to floating damage numbers, the damage type of all attacks, added indicators and colors to show if an attack has improved or reduced effectiveness against its target due to the attack's type, Status effects now generate a floating text and icon to clearly indicate the status effect's name when applied to either players or mobs.
That's excellent.
Status effects icons more clearly and prominently place above the enemy's name rather than on the right side. So, example of this, you've done a decent amount of damage. There's a lot of fire damage here, and some additional, I don't know, blunt damage or something like that. But he's got the bleed symbol, the bleed above him, but also, he says he's bleeding. So that way you know what's going on when you hit something. Would it show if you used an ability's stacks, like a bleed? I'm assuming you're talking about the rapier, which it might.
I mean, there might be like a multiplier, like X2 or X3 or X4.
Because you can get multiple stacks of bleed on the rapier. So that could be a thing. That'll be interesting to see, and something to keep an eye on. The compass,
I'd imagine it'll be a multiplier like that. Anyway.
So the compass has had some polish too, including when in a point of interest, the compass will display the point of interest name permanently until you exit the point of interest, the boundary of it. Both entrance and exit into a point of interest now have a sound effects cue to aid in recognizing when you can set camp. I appreciate that. So basically there's going to be kind of a noise that's made when you enter or exit. That way you can be like, oh hey, I can actually place a camp here. Or I just entered a place that I can't. I should be alarmed. So distances are now only shown for the compass icon closest to the center of the compass, where the camera is aiming. Thank God. This improves legibility of distances significantly by removing overlapping text and allows us to show distances for more icons.
Yes.
Thank God. Like, imagine if all three of these are like right next to each other, knowing that one of them in that direction, the closest, is X distance. Thank you.
Yes. Very much so.
Plethora. Okay, so here's the big one. Here's the big one, and I feel like this should have been higher up because it's got a lot of upvotes already on the subreddit.
I don't think it's the big one, but it's definitely the most I think people appreciate it a lot more.
People have been waiting for this one for a while, and they've been complaining about this one for a while. And they've all been saying character creation needs a workover, needs more customization, needs more, appearance options, blah, blah, blah.
And here you are.
And here we are. A plethora of new character appearance options are now available when crafting your character, including new faces, hairstyles, facial hairstyles, eye colors, skin features, scars, and tattoos. Here are just a few examples. So we've got, kind of a go with kind of a tiger type look.
I hope you can do tattoo colors as well. What did you do?
Take a look at him.
Oh.
It's got some blue, like...
Oh, in that case, yeah. I think that, if those are, it looks like tattoos. Like, you can change the different colors of it, so that's good. Not bad.
So I think almost all of these are new. I like that you can have almost white eyes. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, few examples. Clearly a little bit more customization, a little bit more depth to the process here. We don't know how far this extends, but I think that's great. Other UI polish. I don't think people are going to care too much about these things. However, we'll still talk about them. Tooltips no longer cover up the item you're pointing at.
Yeah.
Instead, they clamp to the side of the focused item. Basically, when you hovered over something, it like half obscured the thing that you were covering. So now it's just shifted over slightly, so it doesn't. Yeah.
It's all regarding usability and legibility, really. Yeah.
Right. Added unique icons for group members instead of identical diamonds with different colors for colorblind accessibility.
Always good.
For those that don't know, I actually had a small lesson today in sign language. So like that I've been doing that all day. But that's a sign for awesome.
I thought that was the sign for stop.
No, that's awesome.
Okay.
So now we're all a little bit smarter too here. When accessing a storage shed, you will no longer receive the storage shed informational notification on the upper right corner, except for the very first time, because you're going to know what a storage shed is at that point. You should know when you walk up to it, but alas, some people need the text. Players who are crouched or prone no longer generate a typing bubble when communicating in global chat, allowing players to remain stealthy when engaged in open world PvP.
That is surprisingly, critical,
Yes.
That is a surprisingly critical thing that you need to make sure that happens.
Yes. So that's a big one. So
now, hopefully, they've also kind of sorted out the whole, because it's something that I also noticed during the preview as well, is the bubbles coming up, or the sort of typing bubbles, or just the general sort of chat bubbles coming up, through things, through what I would consider to be not just housing and stuff, but through mountains and stuff. Hopefully that kind of changes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or they fixed that. I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah, so that'll be an interesting one. So here's this is where things are going to get confusing for a lot of people.
I saw this and I was like, this could be both. This could either be a hit or a really big miss. I'm not entirely certain.
So default, anytime you change, so this is coming from the perspective of McLeod and I, who have been doing this for 3 years. So anytime you change the default, here's how I interact with the game. I initially look and go, "What you doing? Why you doing that?" I liked it the way it was.
It screws with our muscle memory.
Yeah,
For things.
Now, I also think that it is very interesting that they left a lot of this kind of stuff until one of the patches just prior to the beta. I really think that that's to screw with people who have been playing for a while. Yeah.
They bring you back in a little bit more in line with people who haven't played it yet.
So dodge is now bound to shift by default. So instead of hitting space and a direction, you are now dodging with your shift key. Jump is now bound to space, which is the same as it's always been.
I mean, yeah,
but the thing is, there was no jump in the game, they're just wrong.
There was, but I think a lot of people are gonna kind of be caught out with that, because even in the preview, when it came to there was a big difference between jumping and dodging, and a lot of that was down to how much stamina you use when you're doing that. So I have that feeling that some people are going to feel this a little bit negatively, or at least I imagine in the alpha, because they're going to be using more stamina without quite realizing it, and feel like they've just run out of stamina too quick, when in actual fact it's just because their movement key mapping has changed a little bit.
Yeah. So they removed sprint as an input. and it will now occur automatically. So I'm very curious. Very curious to see how this plays out. So sprinting will now occur automatically and will not require you to press or hold Shift key.
I mean, there's a moment where I'm like, slightly makes sense because nobody goes into an absolute sprint straight away. Yeah. So there's a kind of a momentary period where you're not sprinting, but it's a very short period of time.
So let's dig into this. The next one.
I don't think it's going to be like 1.5 or 2 seconds.
So combat actions will cause a brief time delay before sprinting turns on automatically. We've added these delays to help reduce the runaway game that has been occurring in PvP, and to help melee characters close in against ranged opponents. Okay, well, so for the people that complained that there was no way for non-ranged players to catch ranged players, the next two things are really important. You cannot sprint for 1.5 seconds after the beginning of an outgoing attack. So if I turn around and shoot you with a bow, I cannot sprint for 1.5 seconds, which means you can potentially catch me much easier. If you hit me, hold on one second. If you hit me, I can't sprint for another 2 seconds. So
the thing that I might have that I feel like people are going to have issue with, and the thing that I kind of feel like I'm going to have issue with this is, and you have to kind of understand, like, obviously, when we're coming from sort of the preview experience, one of the things about the experience back then was a lot of people chose to be light, or most of the time chose to be light rather than medium or heavy. There were some people who chose to be heavy, right? And obviously that's fair enough, because they wanted to have, the feeling of having a large amount of armor and being able to, tank damage, that kind of thing. Your main point of movement when you were in light was not sprinting, really, as such. Like, sprinting was like a final kind of thing if you really genuinely needed to, hightail it out of there. But that wasn't your distance generation kind of tool. Obviously there was the light staff that allowed you to to increase the distance fairly well. But if you were in a light movement setup, it was dodge. And it doesn't say anything about dodging. It says something about sprinting. You can't sprint for 1.5 seconds, but it doesn't say anything about dodging. And the distance covered when you're in a light set of armor versus a heavy set of armor, in terms of the distance that you dodge, is quite significant.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is actually only going to penalize heavy sets more than lights.
And I think any kind of meta around mages wearing heavy sets is gonna disappear pretty freaking quick. That's for sure.
That could be true.
But then again, as per our video, the expedition and the PvP we were able to do after the fact with some of the devs. I think
some of the mage stuff.
Many of the mage abilities are actually quite powerful up close. So
Oh yeah.
There's definitely some counterplay there. I think this is going to be definitely a feel thing. I think it's going to be something that I'm looking forward to getting my hands on. So I believe when they post the patch notes, that also means that the patch is going up. So one could assume patch notes means a patch, so
I would imagine so.
Maybe we get our hands on this sooner rather than later. So let's see. We saw that accidentally performing special navigation, such as hurdling and ledge grabs, was occurring during combat. To perform special navigation, now you need to press the jump input, which is by default set to space. You will no longer automatically perform special navigation while navigating unless you enter auto run mode, which again, I absolutely love that they still have in the game, and thank you for keeping that in the game, because if you ever remove that, we're going to have some serious talks.
You're going to be paying for my chiropractic.
Yes. The equals button is just yes.
Yeah, yes. Amazon Games, meet my chiropractor.
Yes. So okay, movement navigation. The fucking nice. For a second, it was like, how much more do we have of this? We've also made updates to player navigation that pair with the default control scheme update. These updates have been made to reduce the sprint jump being used in combat to gain an advantage, which was never intended. Totally makes sense. Why is my camera like?
I like that.
Why do I look like I'm behind a glass? Like, what's going on here?
It just it's just auto focusing.
Okay, here we go. Hi. Yeah. Yes, Canon. I'm still here. The same distance I've been sitting the entire time. Stay.
There we go.
People tell you, oh yeah, you should get a better camera. You should get a better camera. It would be a much better quality. You'll have such a great time. As I go out of focus again, stop. Don't make me come up there.
Oh, there's a particular there's a particular content creator who has like over 100 million subs who has had the same issues that you have right nowadays with video quality. So don't worry, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. It's okay. Continuing on. Remove the roll on sprint jump unless a player is landing from an elevated height. So you have to be jumping off of something to go into a roll. Okay. Sprint jump no longer exceeds sprint speed, so you can't use it as a way of accelerating yourself faster than the actual maximum speed of a player. Stamina will regenerate while navigating. What is it? Does that mean while I'm running? If I'm sprinting, do I not gaining stamina?
I mean, I imagine
if it's doing it automatically, like, you've taken the option out of my hand to just walk, so like, right?
Because that wouldn't be a change if it's just, still normal, right? Like, it must be. It must mean that we're gaining stamina even if we're sprinting. So that's interesting.
I'm behind. I'm getting on board on this one. Remove the stamina cost.
I mean, if I can't do a jump roll, like a sprint jump roll, like then in heavy gear, then like I hope that my stamina regenerates while I'm sprinting.
All right. Block break, blocking, and stamina. Block break has been upgraded to be a more disadvantageous state, as our current block break would be used as an advantage during boss fights and trivialized certain encounters. We've made updates to our blocking state and stamina regeneration rules to offer more active version of tanking and to give options to the blocking player. So I'm not a guy who uses shield all that often, so this will be an interesting one to go through.
So what's kind of being said is like instead of just being like perma blocking, and then when you block breaks, you being able to regain or recover fairly quickly with full stamina, like it basically means that if your block breaks, that's you're going to be penalized for that. So what it means is, you can't just hold. You can't just sit there and hold the block constantly. Like you have to actively, recoup your stamina by dropping your block every so often at opportune moments.
All right. So, adding some stats to that. After block break, you will not be able to dodge or block for 3 seconds. That's pretty punishing bit. Especially if you're in a boss fight. 3 seconds is a long freaking time.
It is.
Stamina will now reset to full after 3 seconds instead of 1.5 seconds, so that matches the time frame that you're that you can't block or dodge either. So that makes sense. Players cannot block at 0 stamina.
No.
Sounds logical to me. Stamina will not regenerate while blocking. Good. You should have to manage it coming on and off, not just hold your block up persistently. So you're going to be rewarded for blocking at the right times and pulling your block down when you're not about to get hit, so that you can recover without breaking your block, which that makes total sense. After a player releases block, there is a 1-second delay before stamina starts regenerating. That might be a little punishing.
That's punishing. Yeah, that's going to be punishing. That they might have to change.
Yeah, I think that needs to be shorter.
1 second is a long time. Like, considering, like, you know, when you had a block break, like, your stamina resetted after 1.5 seconds, and they're kind of saying, like, yeah, you're not going to be able to regenerate. You have to wait a full 1 second before it even starts to. Like, oof. That's
in terms of the stamina auto-regenerating to full after it being drained from a block break, stamina's never really taken a ton of time to regenerate anyways, so within 3 seconds it would, I believe it would have normally regenerated to full anyways. But I think it's just popping it to that in that 3 seconds, so
yeah.
And it's preventing you from doing anything other than anything that would use the stamina that would be building up as well. So that kind of makes sense.
If I was in a heavy set blocking, like, I would hope that I'd be able to do like a backwards roll to give some distance, like on, you know, basically whatever enemy, whether it's, you know, a player or an NPC, that was I was essentially blocking. Like, but I kind of feel that you know, within a heavy set, that wouldn't be a backwards roll. That would be like a tiny little jump backwards, which won't give me anywhere near the amount of room that I need in order to be able to, you know, drop guard and be able to regenerate stamina. So yeah, I don't know how they're going to deal. Like, I kind of feel like this is going to be pretty bad for tanks as such. But, you know, this is this is patch notes on a you know, alpha, where we get to, you know, where the alpha players get to test, and where Amazon gets to see, okay, maybe this isn't working, maybe we went a little bit too far with this, we can rein it back in.
Alright, so stamina we regenerate while attacking as well. So, you know, you bring your block down to swing, sure, there's going to be a delay there, but, you know, you're also going to be able to attack, and even though you're taking swings, you're not using stamina to do it. Which I think is going to be good. Grey Raven Gaming, I can jump back to that in just a second.
We'll cover that again in a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got.
But the other thing that I'd say,
there's a lot left still.
Yeah. So what I would say about that is maybe Amazon Games are kind of looking at that in terms of, you know, having tanks doing a bit of damage rather than just, you know, sitting there blocking constantly.
So I'm okay with this. You know, as I said, the 3 seconds was enough prior to regen it to full. It's putting you in a pretty disadvantageous state for a while, and then giving you back your XP, or giving back your stamina. So I think that's an okay thing to happen. You know, default stamina going down is probably a net positive. We'll see how that plays out. So Death's Door.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say maybe they're looking to have people have more than one tank on one team, and be able to basically coordinate tanking by sort of swapping out tanks rather than just having a single tank tanking everything constantly. Yeah, it'd be that.
And I think it's reasonable. You know, I think it makes it a much more active experience being a tank. You might need to move around, you might need to get away, you might need to like take time to recover instead of just get pummeled all day.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot more realistic as well. So, Death's Door. So this is the state in which you have been downed but not killed. All damaging, debuffing, and buffing status effects are removed when entering Death's Door. Thank God.
The things like bleed and that sort of stuff that
Poison
damages
arrows
you
is where they came to mind
carries
for me.
on. Oh yeah, that's true.
Freaking 20-second poison arrow, and you're standing there with somebody else going, "Yeah, we killed it, but don't rest me. Don't rest me. No. Let me sit here for 10
please,
seconds
God,
so
no.
this can cool down." Timers, food buffs, and other tracking effects are not removed on Death's Door, so like your food doesn't go away.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a
good.
net positive. Sheathed and prone attacks updated. Okay, you can now trigger abilities and attacks directly from the sheathed state. Pressing an ability button while sheathed will now go straight into the attack.
Interesting.
Basic attacks and abilities can also be performed directly from the prone position. So, getting a jump on people, making them feel a little bit ambushed would be the appropriate word there. And that combos well with the chat bubble not showing up if you are prone or crouched. So I think that's.
So you can literally go. You can literally go from prone to doing your lunge with a your sort of lunge with a sword. Right at that moment where you say into local surprise cockface.
Okay, we got a whole suite of balance updates too here. For anybody not in the alpha, these are really not going to make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah. So stabs and gauntlets lower the base damage of stabs by 12%, increase the ability damage by 12%. Lower the base damage of the ice gauntlet by 13%, increase the ability damage by 13%.
A lot of the time people tend to use staves and staves like interchangeably, but that's basically like if you don't know what staves are, like staves, like it's just staffs. So like fire staffs, for example.
Basically, you're being a magic user for fire staves and ice gauntlets. You're now going to have less damage on your standard attacks and more damage on your abilities. So switching between them is potentially going to be more valuable. Increase the heavy attack damage for stabs and the ice gauntlet from 130% base weapon damage to 140%. Also good. I feel like the amount of time that heavy attacks take for those there's a reward there and a large enough distinction that it's worth that. Fire stabs. Fireball can now be blocked with the shield. Solid.
Nice.
Fireball has been updated to a 3-meter AoE attack at 125% weapon damage that causes Scorched Earth. Totally good. Reheat Pyro Ultimate. Reduced Reheat Pyro Ultimate from 500% mana regeneration rate after not using an ability for 5 seconds to 400% after 6 seconds. Totally good with that.
I think if anything, that 1 second is probably going to be more punishing than the from 500 to 400 because I think it's still 400%.
That
Jesus.
Yeah. Like you're 4 times the regen rate. Incinerate. So okay, before people blow their lid on more stagger removed, read the rest of the line before we react. Removed stagger, increased knockback to compensate for stagger removal. Fundamentally speaking, if I push McLeod back and he is knocked back, that is a form of stagger. It is slightly different because I'm moving him. I'm not just disabling his attack. I'm moving him. But one could assume that he's also probably not going to complete that attack. We don't know. We'll see.
It's also a bit more of a like a gap creator as well.
Yes, it's the get away from me button. If you can get it to go off, because there is a spool up timer on that one.
It's a you shall not pass.
Yes.
Actually, that works because he uses like. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
100%. Updated functionality, so damage over time effects will not heal the player while the cauterized wounds modifier is active. Totally makes sense. Reduced healing to 20% of damage done as an AoE attack was healing for too much against multiple targets. That's fair.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
can't even be mad. Like,
it's like, yeah.
Simply put, like,
okay.
the way, like, here's the thing. Multiple attacks. Imagine how this would work against NPCs. You go around, you trigger a whole bunch of NPCs. You go around in a circle, and all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, boom, and suicide bomber on them. But you gain a boatload of health in the process.
Yeah.
One could agree that's a little broken. So, totally agree that needed to change. Prophet of a Fire God reduced critical damage bonus from 35 to 20%. Also fair considering all of the other bonuses on everything else and the buffs
on top
elsewhere.
of it.
Totally makes sense. Musket Ultimate, Trapper Ultimate, redesigned compounded adrenaline to now be lethal combo, grants a 40% base damage increase to musket attacks on targets that have any of the status effects applied by the Trapper tree active abilities. Okay, so if you've triggered a Trapper ability on them at some point in time, giving them a status effect, you will now hit them for 40% additional damage, which I believe is incredibly punishing and makes the musket interesting.
But that also incentivizes musket players to not be like freaking miles away, because it means that like if they hit somebody with a status effect from a Trapper ability, then it means they can get a lot more damage on them. And as far as I know, the Trapper tree is a fairly close range thing. It's like it's got traps and this, that, and the other, right?
Yeah.
That's the
so
that's
getting somebody to walk over your trap, trapping
Yeah.
them, and then turning around and aiming for a headshot, which is going to get the critical damage for the headshot, but also the potential critical damage on top of that, and the lethal combo damage of additional 40% base damage. Now you're talking about a pretty solid freaking hit if you can land that.
I mean, if you're not aiming for a head and you're a musket player, like you're doing things wrong.
Like that's.
But there's just incentivizes you to sort of go in there and hit a trap to be able to actually maximize on it, right?
That might be worth. It might be worth using the musket now. It's gotten a lot of buffs over like the last couple of patches, so like I think it might be in a position where it's finally a very powerful weapon. Extended the cooldown for using tactical reload from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Totally. Ice Gauntlet. Replace Stabbing Winds perk with Unending Thaw. Makes frost effects remain on enemies for 2 seconds after exiting the ice storm. Okay.
Peaceful, yeah.
To be fair, the Ice Gauntlet really didn't need a whole lot of changes either.
No.
And there were combo changes up above here with stabs and gauntlets up there. So, Life Staff, the Mending Touch passive and Purity modifier for Splash of Light. Now only remove a single debuff from targets affected instead of removing all debuffs. So you're gonna have to hit them more than once with this to get rid of all of them. I'm hoping that there's a priority list.
Yeah, I remember seeing that prior kind of like bit in the live staff where I was like, wait, what? Just remove all of the debuffs straight away with one hit. Like that seemed a little bit, a little bit much.
Yep. Okay, Warhammer. Adjusted homing for the heavy attack, so it'll direct the player slightly towards the target. Same for the Great Axe. There's a lot of like spinning abilities and stuff like that that make them a little bit unwieldy. So like, I could totally understand that.
I do kind of feel like the Warhammer and the Great Axe still need a bit more kind of love to bring them back into the state where they kind of feel dangerous. You know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Okay. Perks. Cruel perk updated to only affect crowd control status effects, roots, slows, stuns, instead of all debuffs. Increase the effectiveness by 2%.
Yeah, so it goes from 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 rather than starting at 6.
So.
Going from 4 and starting from 6 rather than starting from 4.
Yep. Yeah. So that's fair. I think that's totally fair. So let's go back and talk about Twitch.
Yes.
So I wanna hit one thing before we leave here. This button right here. Now, for people who can't read this,
I had a question here. I actually had a question here. And it concerns, say, channels like us, right? Where we run one channel, but like there might be 2 of us. So,
that's a good question.
Does it work with
work with multiple accounts? That's a good question.
And will it know which account to prioritize if both of us are playing?
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one to find out.
Maybe, hopefully, if we could toggle that in sort of like a setting somewhere inside of Twitch, that'd be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, that'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting. We might have to figure that one out, because if it doesn't, then we might be in a position where, like, if we host the stream from another channel, like, I don't know how we'll try and figure that out. But anyways, this button allows you to connect your Twitch account. So why is this important? Why is this big news? Why is this the thing that you should care about more than anything else in terms of going to Twitch to find stuff? Fundamentally speaking, this is going to allow you to find content that you are interested much easier. Like,
but also this helps you as a streamer if you're connecting your Twitch account, because it allows Twitch to automatically update your stream for people to find your stream, for people to differentiate your stream from other streams.
So, I am scrolling through a list because I'm trying to get to the top. This was sent out to all Twitch creators earlier today. And 99.9% of people looked at it and went, I don't care. But because, I read stuff that comes into my email, I'm sick twisted like that, and I'll go through and actually look at what they're trying to tell me. They release this information on tags. Now, what exactly does this mean? Why is this important? Now, when you go to the stream, streamers will put on tags. So a tag will allow you to filter the content, like our channel here. Yeah. We have tags on ours. We're tagged as English. We're tagged as an RPG, adventure game, MMO, action. We have a number of different tags below our stream that allow people to filter and try and find our content. So that's great. There's category tags as well. Like game genres. So like MMO, And generally, these have been able to be applied by the creator, by me. We go in, we say, hey, here's the things we want as our stream tags. By going into the new world, it's associating a couple of things with us automatically now. So category tags like MMO and stuff like that are automatically attributed, and they can't be assigned by us. So okay, that's fine. Now there's also automatic tags. Automatic tags are applied to streams when certain conditions are met. They cannot be applied directly by creators to their streams. So, going back to this, why would you want to connect your Twitch account with the game? That's weird, right? Like, I'm not. I can't stream directly from the game. Like, that's kind of a weird thing to connect. But what if you're trying to tell Twitch something about what you are doing while you are streaming? So, let's go to New World.
To be fair, the some of the other games that already have those sort of connections aren't using those connections for tagging. They're using those connections for basically drops. So say Twitch drops that drop certain things. They need to be able to redeem it to the right character, and so having your particular in-game sort of account be linked to Twitch, it allows Twitch to be able to drop that loot into your account.
Mm-hmm.
But this is additional to that.
So this creates a number of different opportunities. By linking your Twitch account, fundamentally speaking, it allows you to automatically show what you were doing in the game. So, let's say I go live, I'm streaming, we're in the Amaran Expedition, which would automatically be tagged below the stream, so you could find people who are doing that specific content. From there, I'm in Covenant, so you could filter by Covenant players and see that tag, find me that way. Or, hey, maybe I'm level 28. It's going to automatically tag me at my level. So you're going to know when you go into a stream, you're going to see below it, the person is playing New World. There's also auto tags for the language, which it'll auto detect. It'll detect what type of game it is and automatically assign those things. And then it'll detect where you are, all the way down to the expedition, the level, if you're in a war, if you're in an invasion, if you're in Outpost Rush. We're not going to talk about the world record attempt because that's not actually New World related. And what zone you're in. What area of the map are you actually in? So this is huge.
Part of me was thinking a little bit along the lines of maybe zoning you might be a little bit much. When you're in a expedition, like you can't exactly be screwed around with. Like it's somewhat instanced, right? Whereas in actual fact, if you're in a zone, then you're not as instanced. But I kind of feel like the zones are fairly significantly large in size. So I don't think if your stream is tagged as a particular zone, I don't think it's going to be too I don't think you're going to get a negative sort of effect from having your stream tagged to a particular zone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be wrong, but we'll see.
So how this will work is because the game is now tied directly to Twitch. When you go to transition from Everfall to Windsward, you make that transition, you're running across the map and you jump from zone to zone, Twitch will automatically update that you moved from zone Everfall to zone Windsward, knowing, hey, because the game is talking to it back and forth. So this means, fundamentally speaking, while you're streaming, people can follow you around, they can easily identify where you are. So you're no longer saying like, oh, hey, I found this lore paper here. Well, where are you? What, at bare minimum, they can look below the stream and go, okay, they're in Windsward. I'm going to go there, I'm going to find that location, and I'll get that lore page, because I don't have that one. Gives a lot of opportunities there. Now, McLeod touched on this earlier, and I think that this is where we're going to see some substantial issue or some substantial opportunities. So everybody knows that Twitch drops are a thing. So they're an incredibly popular way of giving away stuff free for viewers that are watching content. So fundamentally speaking, the creator.
I've seen this in Rust as well.
Yeah, the creator's sitting here going, oh yeah, let's play the game. Goes through, does their thing, and randomly there will be a Twitch drop if the game has one, and fundamentally everybody in the channel gets an item. They'll get a message and go get your item. Linking your account, I'm wondering if this also works for viewers, so that they can now tie the viewer who's sitting there, going, oh hey, this guy's going through, this super high level expedition.
I've experienced this to some degree with Rust. Twitch has done drops for Rust that are viewer centric rather than player centric. Essentially, what happens is if you've watched essentially it boils down to if you've watched or viewed a stream of X particular game for X period of time, you get a drop into your account, so long as your account is linked. And then they kind of ramp up the nicety, the sort of like the quality or the sort of like the rarity of the item based on how long you've watched. So if you go past a particular threshold, you get a better item, that kind of thing.
So the other side of this is because the game's sharing with Twitch what you were doing, completing content in the game. So like, let's say the streamer is going through and they're playing Dynasty Shipyard, and they're struggling through, and their viewers are watching them the whole time, and they manage to beat it. Great. Because the game is talking to Twitch, it will know if you completed it.
I mean, it may even drop. Like I'm kind of like spitballing here.
So that could be the trigger to drop stuff.
No, but what I'm saying is like I'm spitballing here because I'm just thinking like kind of out loud, right? But it may even you completing an objective on stream, like something like beating a boss or something like that, right? Like say beating Simon Gray right at the end of Amaran. Mm-hmm. That could potentially drop something not just to you but to the people who are watching.
Exactly. Yeah, because and it's going to identify, hey, you completed this, you killed the end boss, you completed the expedition, and now here's a reward for everybody that followed you and watched you do it. I think that would be crazy good, and I really hope that with that kind of tie-in and with that kind of data sharing between the two, knowing that it's already doing stuff like identifying what level you're in or what level you are, where you are expedition wise, what faction you're in. If it's already sharing that kind of live information, that would mean that there would be a meaningful benefit for streamers to stream consistently, but also a meaningful benefit for you guys to watch us play and get rewarded for doing it. And if that's the case, good on them. Like, that's utilizing what you've got in your back pocket. Like, knowing that Twitch is what it is, and knowing it's connected with them, knowing the level of data connection here, we're talking about something entirely different in the gaming industry, and they're utilizing Twitch as not just a marketing thing, but also an integration into the game that gets people more than just, hey, here's people we like to hear talk about the game. Now it's rewarding them for watching.
It's interesting. But it's interesting, Age, because like, you know, when you think about like you know, why people watch the streams that they watch, right? A lot of it is based around sort of the shared experience, right? So it's one of those things where, yeah, you may not have the game, but you may not be at that particular point, but you're watching that and enjoying and sharing the experience of the person who is actually doing that. And so, you know, instead of you know, when they achieve something, yes, you kind of feel euphoric as well in the same kind of sense, but you don't really share in the, you know, the reward, like the tangible reward. To some degree, the tangible reward that the streamer gets. But now with this kind of thing, you kind of do. It's interesting.
Hey, thanks for the
Thank
sub.
you, Grey Raven.
Yeah.
And the gifted.
Yeah, gifted sub. Appreciated. Much appreciated. So I mean that's huge. That like,
Yeah.
you know, the
It's like next level, right?
yeah. This is taking Twitch and going, you know, it was fun when we just watched people. Like, you know, I'll be the first one to say, like, Dr. Disrespect, I'll watch his streams. You know, Nick Merckx, like, I'll watch his streams playing Warzone. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's good stuff. But at the same time, if I got weapon skin drops for any time they won a match, the experience of them winning a match is now me winning the match with them. Like,
Now, the thing is, I don't feel like Twitch should be like viewership to channels should be like fueled by that, or that should be the main drive why people watch, you know, streams versus, you know, one stream versus another stream, you know. Oh, like I'm not gonna watch that stream because, you know, why watch that stream when I can watch like a level 60 stream and get like so much better gear drops out of watching that stream, right? Like, I kind of feel like the drops that maybe somebody might get if this ends up becoming a thing, like, shouldn't drive people to watching certain streams over other streams. It should just be a sweetener.
Yep.
If you know what I mean.
And
like, it should be just an additional bonus.
The other side of this is there's an income opportunity. So looking at this from a business perspective, from Twitch, Amazon, you know, as an overall umbrella here, you know, you consider this and look at the income potential. So, you know, by bringing more people to watch the streams, obviously it's going to become a more popular thing to stream, because there's more viewers who are then going to want to watch it because they're getting rewards for watching it. Which will increase the number of people who see the game, number of times it makes it on the front page, and etc. But also, you know, a lot of people that had a lot of worries around like the cash shop, you know, oh, you know, they're just going to try and make a quick buck. This is an infinitely better way for them to kind of do this, because it's propping up Twitch and making the money in a side way, instead of having that money come in direct through Amazon Games, which this could be a route at getting, you know, additional, you know, subscribers or additional people for Amazon Prime, because, you know, if you have Amazon Prime, you gain the one free Twitch sub per month, and those kind of things. You know, I always look at these things, like, for people that don't know, like, obviously, like, we're pretty crafty when it comes to like how we do things. So like, if you notice below the stream, we also have like, check out the New World merch, like, you know, and then people are like, but why are you selling New World merch? I'm not selling New World merch. I'm telling you to go buy it from Amazon, who's selling New World merch.
Yeah.
It's not allowed for me to sell you New World merch. But, caveat, it is allowed for me to be an Amazon affiliate and forward you as traffic to Amazon and get a percentage of their product. Crafty.
No, you guys don't pay a single cent more than any other thing. So like, you guys, you know, it's not like we're adding money on top of that. Like, you know, by doing, by say going and buying a New World shirt, like, not paying anymore. You're just like helping support us.
Fundamentally speaking,
in a means
and this works for any content
that
creator
doesn't
who's
cost
an
you
Amazon
anymore.
affiliate. I want to explain this program because like some people get this wrong,
Yeah.
and they make it appear like something it's not. So by clicking that image, it's got a link on it that tracks to my Amazon affiliate. Any YouTuber, anybody who has one of these Amazon affiliate links, you click that link, and whether or not you buy the shirt on that link doesn't matter. Anything you buy in the next 72 hours from Amazon, that streamer gets supported with. So, it's not a huge percentage, but it's something. So if you're regularly buying from Amazon anyways, you can support content creators across the board.
I literally just spent like 180, 190 quid worth of stuff on Amazon. I should have clicked the link. I just realized that now. I was like, oh crap. So one of the other things is one of the other things that I think is not really covered that often with regards to the affiliate link, right? Is you use a few words that are a little bit kind of concerning for some people. Things like tracking, right? Things like link to my Amazon account, right? Affiliate account. We don't see who's buying what. We may get to see what the purchases are because they kind of directly refer to how much we get as a percentage. Yeah. But like in no way do we know who's buying what.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So just so you know, just so you don't freak out in any way, shape, or form, like, oh my god, they got those, they're peering into what I'm buying. Like, no, we don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea who's buying what. It shows us like, hey, somebody clicked your link, and then a few days later, for the record, like 5 to 10 people click that link a day, and like when I say it's not a large sum of money, like I think this month we've made like 40 cents. So like, it's not a huge thing, but it does add up. So like, that's one of the things. And I'm not even saying like do it for us. I'm saying like as a whole, like if you're an Amazon customer and you're frequently buying stuff from Amazon and you like content creators, go find one that you like and go find their link. Like I do this all the time for Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah.
I will go find an old video of theirs, click into their affiliate link for Amazon, and make sure that somebody gets that small percentage of whatever I'm buying. I'm not paying any more for it, but I'm getting to support somebody else for it. So just explaining how that works, because like people oftentimes will be like, oh, there's a lot of things in your guys, below your guys' channel that are like, oh, they're just out here for some cash. Like, we're really not.
No, we're just if you want to support us, we're just diversifying the ways at which you could potentially support us. Like that's completely up to you. You don't have to support us. We'll keep doing what we're doing. But it's nice to kind of get some appreciation, and you can do that in whatever ways you feel most comfortable with doing.
And one of the things that we will also promise is that we will never endorse a product that we don't actually use and we don't actually think is worth the money. So for instance, one of the things below is a Secret Labs chair.
Secret Labs chair, by the way.
I quite like mine. So, we talked to them. They were a little hesitant to work with a small creator, small streamers. But hey, we've got a content base here that focuses in on gamers, people who are going to spend a lot of time in their chairs. So why not? And I, for those that have been following the channel, I owned this chair for months before I started talking with them. And I went, hey, they have an affiliate program. Like, these chairs are great. They're selling like freaking hotcakes. So, maybe somebody in the audience, somebody in our group is looking to get one. Well, maybe we can, earlier this week they started a sale, so like telling people, hey, they've got a sale for $100 and some off on this. If we can save somebody some money in the process on something they were potentially going to buy anyways, that's what our goal is. I'm not trying to sell you guys a chair. I'm trying to say, like, if you're already going to buy one, click the link so that, like, we get a chip in from it and you can support us. Like, is
Makes
what it
sense.
is. So aside from that, now that we're like wrapping up towards the end of the show here, I do want to thank our Patreons. Again, you guys are wonderful. It amazes me to this day that we have people that support the channel consistently. I want to thank our subscribers. I want to thank everybody who's donated subscriptions. I want to thank everybody who's following the channel. Follows really do help. In the last 2 months, we've gained almost 150 followers.
And if you guys don't know,
channel, that's huge.
Yeah, if you guys don't know how much like follows actually help, like follows, it's like a snowballing effect. Like the more followers we get, the more the more noticeable people kind of more people kind of take notice of the channel, and then the more people kind of jump in to watch the channel and realize, oh, this is some good stuff. I should be following these guys. So it's like a snowballing effect.
And even the people that just like lurk, like I every once in a while you'll see me pop over and I'm not just looking at the chat, I'm also looking at who's in the chat, and there's a lot of names on here that I recognize that don't talk, and that's great. Like
that's fine.
Like having people who just come, sit, chill, listen to us, and just have a good time. That's what we're all about. Fundamentally speaking, like, I've been chatting with a number of people who have come in and been asking it for advice and streaming and stuff like that. Like, one of the things I can tell you guys is that you don't do this for the money. It's not a thing. Like, we do not break even with our monthly expenses for being a streamer. And people are like, oh, but there's no monthly expenses. There is. The photoshopped assets here come from Adobe. Adobe is not free. Photoshop is not free. That costs, I believe it costs us like $60 a month. So, like,
that's okay, because we've
we've
feel
been
like
running
those
at a loss
expenses
for
are
the
worth it.
last year and a half, legit.
But those, we feel that those expenses are worth it. So
yes,
that's why we pay them.
100% feel those are worth it to provide you guys with the content. Like, that is what it is. And if somewhere down the road we start breaking even, then that's that. Like, great. That's gravy on the cake here. Like, I don't know why you put gravy on a cake. I'm losing.
So that's a bad analogy then.
That's a bad analogy.
Who the fuck puts gravy on a cake? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I'm losing it. We're going mad. But again, it really is a great opportunity. One of the things we do always want to say is if you guys are looking for a place to just talk about New World, we host a Discord. It's got about 400 people or so. And a lot of people who are pretty active. We're in there pretty much every day. There's a memes channel. There's, automated content from New World. So, if you want to be alerted the second something is new with New World, there's automated things that pull all of their Twitter content, all of their Facebook content, or not all of Facebook, all their YouTube content, and their website content. So fundamentally speaking, you're up to date the second it happens. The second they post it on any of their social media things, it's up and you see it, which is great. That's exactly how you want it. So if timing is important to you, there's that. If you're just looking for a place to chill and chat with people about gaming or the events of the day, we're a chill group of people. and you're more than happy to have us. That's I'm gonna make sure that this actually posts in the chat here. That's the link to it in chat. You guys are all welcome. We love having you guys. There is the bot will send you a notification via a private message in Discord. It's just to confirm. It's our way of being like anti-botting, because we've had problems with that in the past.
It also protects you as well as a member of that server from basically being like,
yes.
private messaged by a bot that just like, is around and looks for unsecured Discord servers to spam stuff to.
Yep. So there's that. Fundamentally speaking, again, I can't say this enough, but legit, thank you all. I hope you guys all have a great day. And as I always like to do, we will see you all in the new world.